Hello everyone, welcome to H2O Croutons. This episode will be something on the more serious side, so please grab something to drink, get comfortable, and let's get started. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Lexi.
And we're your hosts. And we're out of here. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh. I guess we're not really leaving. We don't really want to discuss this, but we felt a need to discuss it. There's a difference. And we figured that there are people out there who can relate, and we know some ones that will. However, we don't really want to approach it directly, and we'll let their parents decide if they want to talk to them about it. But essentially, it's about being children of sex offenders. And it is so more common than most people even realize. I guarantee you know someone who is a sex offender. And according to every stat that I am aware of, and you can feel free to look this up, 90 to 95% of those offenders are male.
It's crazy.
It is. So, essentially, I'll say what brought this up was an old friend of mine who I met him when he was married to his second wife. They had 4 children. And then they split up because he decided he wanted to be with this other girl. And again, I was friends with him, so my loyalty was with him. I wish it wouldn't have been, but hindsight's 2020. Because I really did like his wife a lot. I actually let her watch my daughter when she was a little girl, and I let nobody watch my daughter. So that tells you something. Yes. So basically, he ends up with this other girl who is also my friend. So the second wife and the girlfriend we're all friends. And there's a third wife involved. And they're all friends now. And the reason why is when there's something happened between him and his third wife. I'm not privy. She and I don't talk. It's not because there's any hard feelings. We just don't know each other. And she doesn't know who I am. I don't think. Anyway, something came up where he got arrested and charged with over 20 counts of child pornography. So there was another charge as well. I'd have to go look at it. But recently it went before a grand jury. They decided they had enough evidence to indict him. So it is going to court. And his court date is next month. Now, when I tell you that this all came up because of the whole child thing, there's 4 kids by the second wife. And then there are 2 by the girlfriend. And then by the third wife, there was another 2. So there are rumors beyond the 8 kids that we know of that there are even more. This guy, I'm trying to think about little ones listening to this, but let's just say he was busy.
I think that's probably your best way of wording that.
Yes. It was with anything, with everything, and yada yada. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll get into why it's so important to Alexis and myself to tell you why this matters to us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And I guess we're going to go dig deep here and give you all insight into why it's so important to Alexis and myself to get the message out to other people who are probably like us. And maybe they don't want to tell people who they're related to. And believe me, we understand that. But our own experience comes from our own fathers being sexual predators. I don't know if my mom and I do not know how to pick them. I just hope my daughter does a better job than we did. But my father was just a basic, but they referred to him as a career car criminal thief. We're all, what's that?
I was just saying, okay.
So he was notoriously known for stealing people's cars and whatnot. That was pretty much the end of it until I was in my early 20s, and he had gotten out. I quit speaking to him. I only started talking to him at 18, stopped talking to him at 19, because I told him if you stay out of trouble, because he'd always been locked up or done something wrong, And I said, if you stay out of trouble, then I'll let you in my life and we'll try to develop a relationship. Well, I told him he had 1 year. Prove it to me for 1 year, and I'll call you Dad. And he did it all the way up to that year. And I called him Dad, made him dinner. And that night, he got a phone call at my apartment. He left. He gets arrested, lied to me, and told me that he didn't have anything to do with it. But then he had a confession in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch about how he did. And he gets locked up. Now he's getting out from being locked up from that. This is where the story gets really deep. I was working in Hannibal, and I had gotten into an argument with my roommate on the phone while I was at work. And I was like, I gotta go home and I gotta handle this. So I left. I said, I'll be back. And my employees were going, your mom's called. She's paranoid. Like, so she's really anxious. There's something going on. And I just kept thinking, oh my God, what the heck? And I wasn't there another 10 seconds and the phone rang. But about that same time, police lights are going off all behind me because the phone rings. I get on the phone, I'm talking to her, and I can see them bouncing off the wall in front of me. And I'm like, what the? And she was telling me that my dad had made threats to kill me and left a letter stating as much. And he had stolen his friend's Jeep and was on his way to me. Now, when on his way to me, he ended up raping a 15-year-old, and I believe the other girl was 18 or 19. I would have to read the articles. But he never got to me, but I lived with police protection for 4 days over that threat. And he actually got apprehended, was serving time. He got out again because he ended up plea dealing with it and served less time. I hate plea deals.
Plea deals are so ridiculous.
They are. I know they save money, but they're not. They're helping the criminal, not the victim.
Well,
so.
Real quick on that, you know how I have friends like that live out of the country? I'm pretty sure none of them, like, it's like my friend in the UK, she's like, yeah, I don't think we have plea deals. Like, those are so ridiculous. I hear about them and they don't make sense. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, they don't at all. It's I don't like them. But long story short, he was on his hospital bed. He was asking for me, and I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it because after everything that had happened through that time, I couldn't do it. And knowing what he did, I couldn't, because I talked to that guy, and the 15-year-old girl that he raped was a friend of his daughter's. So I did all my information, research, and asking people questions because I wanted to know for myself.
Yeah.
And everybody just told me the truth. Every person I talked to, yeah, he did it. He absolutely did it. Here's how I know, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So that's my father. When we come back after this break, we'll dive into her biological father and let you see why it's important to her as well. We'll be right back. Now, if you fast forward probably about 15 to 20 years,
somewhere in there,
I get pregnant because I was with one guy and I ended up with another guy, and he was in a band. And
this is why I said don't date musicians in our music episode.
He and I ended up dating. It was never a real serious thing, except it was in certain ways. But I ended up pregnant. The first words out of his mouth, obviously, were, I can't have this.
The mellow yellow should not have allowed me to
get
pregnant.
The mellow yellow. No, I drink mellow yellow. I can't get anybody pregnant.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was bizarre. And I at first...
Soda.
Yeah. It was the yellow number 5. At first, I was hurt because I thought, oh my God, I can't... What? Really? You can't have this? Blah, blah, blah. And as time went on, essentially, we quit talking. That was it. He would avoid me like the plague, which is fine. Avoid me all you want. This had been going on for almost a year. I started hearing some feedback about things that he had done and how I needed to look deeper. And one of them happened to be a girl. He was 35 and she was 15. And she told me that she had slept with him multiple times. And that was my first clue. Welcome back. Okay, on to the story. I went and looked, and started finding out more information by talking to people. In my little investigative reporting that I like to do, which, by the way, I'm really good at.
She is.
I found out that he is someone who likes children, and things that he had done and people that were coming to me and telling me. It's like everybody knew, oh, she's pregnant with his kid. She needs to know. And I appreciated the warning. So I remember when I was still pregnant, hadn't had you yet. Now, right after that is when some people jumped him. I suspect I know who it was, but I don't know for sure. But it was enough to scare him away.
Whoever it was, good job. Thank you.
He ended up in the hospital. I do know that because he thought it was me.
Again, even better job. Thank you.
He thought I was the one that got some of my band members or something, people I knew in the middle scene, to get together. No. You did that on your own. This was a totally separate situation where a lot of people were pissed off at him, and including his own band. And it just all happened at once. So he ran away. He took off out of state and tried to hide because he goes, "You're never going to get a penny out of me for child support." And I said, "Yes, I will, actually." And he's like, "No, you won't. Most you can get's like $50. Is it worth it?" And I'm like, "You really believe that?" Like, he did. And so I got told, because I did think about, and I did try to not involve him. So I just thought, you know what? I'd rather him just go than get his money.
Right.
I'll just handle it. And the state said no, as long as I was getting any kind of aid. And because I was a single mom, I needed that aid. And they said as long as I was getting it, I had to name him and put him on the birth certificate. And I'm like, so what then? They said, then we go after him. If we pay you, he pays us. Oh, okay. And then it started coming to me. Well, he kept running. He moved to 3 different states. Jeez. And I found him every single time before any of those states did. I did it. And I would call in. So I hope you're listening. I would call it in and say, hey, this is where he is. This is where he works. This is his phone number, his address, everything they wanted to know. And he would move again. And he finally stopped running when he got to Arizona. So, yeah, he finally stops running. And he's paying child support. And then the state tells me, hey, by the way, blah, blah, blah. And they were going to take my medical away unless I took less child support. So he thought I was playing it. I know, right? It was too much money to get $300 a month. Wow. That was really helpful. Anyway, by the way, a lot of that's sitting in an account for college for her. So, yeah, it wasn't because I wanted his money. Thank you very much. And the paternity test twice, because the first one I had done through the state that they did was 99.99999%. And then you did your DNA on the Ancestry, and he pops up.
God, that's
remember?
Right.
Yeah. So I go ahead and deny her some more. We know better. But yeah, I essentially...
Trust me, I wish I wasn't biologically his. It feels like a curse.
I end up taking cash, money from him for a while on child support, met Dad, and I'll explain that part in a minute. We get married. I told her biological father, sign her over, go away, child support's done, I want nothing to do with you, and he did. He signed her over, my husband adopted her, and she's been ours ever since, and she's been quite the pain in the just for the record.
You know what, but I have a dad that loves me for it, so whatever.
But yeah, we know what that feels like, and there's a lot more to him. He had a hearse. And all I know, without going into graphic detail in case there's any kids listening, that he went to a mortuary, and he was telling the story online under a screen name of his. So one Google search pulled that up. I actually have it printed, just so anybody wants to deny that, because the band name that's in the screen name that he used is tattooed on his body. Go ahead and deny it. So he talked about something that he did when he was there to buy that hearse. And that was near the end of our relationship. So I remember him going there, but I didn't get the full story, obviously. There's been other instances where he's had confessions online under the same screen name. Google's forever, so you can't just go erase it. You can go in the archives, which I also know how to do, and I have done, to go find out things that he had done. It's amazing how proud he was of these things. It wasn't just kids. Long story short from there, knowing when I found out I was having a little girl, that's when I called him. I'm like, don't you ever come around me or our daughter ever again. She's mine. If you come near her, I will tell everybody everything I know. And I was going to. I would have. And he was scared. He was terrified. And he told me that later on. You scared me. Good. I hope you spend every night worrying about it. Because to carry that burden, I knew exactly what my kid was feeling. oh my God, the person who is my father has done something wrong to victims that traumatize them.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. And it's hard to think about that. With people that do that kind of crap, it has to be a power thing.
They say it's 98% of women, I think, that deal with it at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
Like, and one of my friends, similarly, it was her dad who did it to her. Her dad's now dead as well, so,
Maybe it's
again,
a thing.
good riddance.
Play that game, you die. It's not from anybody. It's just karma. So, essentially, we both know what it feels like. And maybe you do too. Maybe you're someone who's got experience with the fact that you feel almost betrayed that they could do something to harm another soul like that. Because it's pretty powerful. Like, because you feel a sense of guilt yourself. Like,
you wish you could have done something.
Yeah, I carried a lot of guilt for mine for a long time. I had to go to therapy for it too. And, I finally came to the conclusion, common sense said, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything.
Right.
Why are you? Yeah.
But you had no way of knowing.
No, I didn't even know what he was doing. All I knew was he was coming to kill me. And so I did not know that, everything was happening and that he had turned to this. How he went from car thief to that didn't matter to me. The fact is, he got there. And I know you feel that too, because it's something that you have in common with people, because we're not the only ones who have had to go through this. So, anyway, essentially, we know what it feels like to have a father who is and has done something. Mine is now dead. I don't have to deal with that. I've made my peace with it as far as my anger toward him for myself.
Mine, however...
Yeah, Lexi is carrying a lot. And I could have not told her. I was always afraid that somehow, some way, he would approach her without me around. She needed to know. She deserved to know. And he knows that she knows because he has made absolutely no attempt. And if he did, I would feel very sorry for him. Because if he was scared of me, and he said he was...
then he'll be scared of me, too.
He's terrified of you.
And you know what? He definitely is a lost cause.
Yes, he definitely is a lost cause. Nice little play into that. I caught it.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's the mark that they leave. That it's so... If you guys hear heavy breathing, that's our dog. That's my buddy Bodie. He's a big 130-pound Great Pyrenees, so he breathes very heavy.
He looked at me like, do I really?
But yeah, it leaves a mark, and that mark will be there forever, and there's nothing you can do to erase it, okay? And as the oldest one of the group of all these people and kids who have been affected, and the people that I know, don't carry their burden. Don't carry the guilt that they should have had. Don't feel that it has anything to do with you, because it doesn't. Don't feel like you are somehow genetically ready to be like them, or that you're capable of things that they did, because the long and skinny of it is there's nothing or no one that I am aware of in that past. With my father, I don't know about yours, because we did actually look up and we found out his bio father was correct. Yeah, Lexi did a bunch of research, and she's good too. She gets it honestly. But she had found her biological father's biological father.
Yeah, who's currently still somehow alive. The man looks ancient.
And he's on the sex offenders list. Yeah. Mine used to be, and hers should
be.
So...
maybe he should turn himself in. Let him be on the...
He won't. His wife doesn't even know who he is now. He's married again. He left his old wife, married this one, and she has no idea why. None. But I'll be making sure that this is available on my Facebook, because I'm pretty sure it gets checked out here and there. And if she wants to learn, she'll learn.
By the way, we've seen your photography. It's beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah, you're great at this. Oh my God. I put my camera down. I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna live up to that. She's very good. Like, excellent. If I was ever gonna need a professional photography session for myself, I'd be calling her up if she wasn't married to him. Right? I'm coming to see you. I need the best.
Out there.
Right? She's very good. It's not her fault.
No.
It's not her kid's fault. They don't know his secrets. We do. And that's probably why he doesn't make contact, because he knows if you're anything like me, you'll tell her. So maybe we just did. But Hopefully. Some people will be in denial no matter what you tell them. he did try to tell me that he got help and he's changed, but I actually looked it up, and it takes years of therapy to change. It takes cognitive behavior therapy.
Yeah.
And years of it to even get you to learn how to deal with those impulses. And he didn't do that.
Yeah, and remember what I found recently?
What?
Those, like, I just said how his wife runs a photography thing, and I think it was him. I could be wrong, but the way she was talking on our
Santa?
Facebook. Yeah, and I think it was him.
Yeah.
He was playing as Santa, and
Yeah.
that tells me, if you think you're a PDF file, and you're more than willing to let little kids sit on your lap, that tells me nothing's changed about you.
Yeah, you haven't learned your lesson yet. But he also married a woman with 2 kids, so a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, because I will always stay fair, they seem to really, care about him. So maybe he was like, oh, I'm not going to do that to them. And maybe he's never done anything else again. I don't know. But I can tell you that his past wife, his ex-wife, didn't have a clue outside of that one girl that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Because apparently that happened right in their own apartment, which I just find disturbing. Like, are you serious? If I would have known who he was, I would have never gotten with him, but then you wouldn't be here had I not. So I can't regret it. Outside of that, had I not had you, I would be so regretful. There's no question. But yeah, but if you are in our position, please listen to what I'm saying. If you need to talk, you can reach out to either one of us at H2O Crouton Question at questions, but question singular at Gmail. You can reach out on any of our socials, which are Instagram and Facebook, Discord at H2O Croutons. And remember, that's H2O, not H20. H2O. You can also reach out on X. Pretty much reach us anywhere. Just look on Blogger. We're on Tumblr. We're going more and more places all the time. So just search us out. Let us know. Feel free to come to us and say, how do I deal with it? Or you need someone to talk to who understands. We'll be there for you. And younger people can reach out to Lex. She's younger. She gets it. And she's, in the process. And if you want somebody who's older and has lived with it for years, hit me up. So that's it. I think that wraps up this episode. I'm not sure what we're going to name this one yet, but it should be a doozy. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
So she's kind of far away because she's actually
Sorry, I'm trying to distract the dog who has decided he wanted to come in and interrupt the podcast. Bodie.
So she's playing, and if you heard that snort, they're wrestling hardcore. But yeah. But that's it. Bottom line, just please don't carry the guilt. It's not your bag to carry.
It's not worth it.
It's not. You're so much better. You're so much more. And if nothing else, you take all of that and do what I did. And I told myself I will be nothing like him. I quit even doing things that I enjoy, like drawing, because he was a hell of an artist, my dad.
Which you don't have to do that. If there are things that you enjoy that you have in common with your biological parent, you don't technically have to do that. That's just how she did it.
No, you don't have to, because Lexi didn't do it. She's got things in common with hers. It's genetic. It's okay. I write exactly like my dad did.
You know what? I just consider my love for graphic design to be from you, so.
Either way, just please, God, please. I know how hard it is. You're not alone. You don't have to carry it alone. And if you need to talk, pick up the phone. I should probably start a support group for this someday, because I swear there's thousands of people like us. Oh my gosh,
seriously.
Yeah. And some people can just pick it up and move on and be like, whatever, and that's good. That's great. But there's a lot of us who can't. And those are the ones I worry about the most, which is why we're here today. Do you have anything else you would like to say while you have the mic?
I would just like to say, it's okay to be upset about it, but don't let it be the only thing you ever focus on about you.
Don't let it become the sole identity of who you are. Yes.
Like, whenever I did my research and found out that it was 2 generations rather than just 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My mom will tell you, I sobbed. I'm like, oh my God, I feel awful. Mm-hmm. Like, and I didn't know what to do with it. And then I realized there's nothing I can do other than just not be like them. And if you ever feel like, for whatever reason, that you are turning out to be like them, go and get the help. Don't go down their path.
If you start feeling any kind of impulse, that would be when you call a therapist and say, I need help. This is why. And they will get you help.
Yes, they won't judge.
Don't be ashamed. Be ashamed if you don't get the help and you do something that harms another.
Agreed with that. 100% agreed.
Because I just don't believe it's genetic. I think
No.
it's environmental.
Oh, yeah.
I know that your sperm donor, I'm sorry, I should say it differently. I know that your biological father did tell me that he had an incident in another state where he was, gone after, and I gotta be careful with my words because the whole SA
Right.
thing. But I do know that if you have ever been assaulted, I will just say this. Don't take your pain and make it someone else's.
No.
Don't transfer that. But I know that yours did. But that did not give him the right to
Right.
go and harm someone else or think about harming.
Agreed.
So, yeah, the moment he saw that coming, he should have been like, oh, I don't want to be like that. Because that's exactly who I was when I found out who my father was. I'm like, I don't want to be nothing like him. And I am nothing like him outside of having a mouth. I'm nicer. I give a crap about people, and I am as honest as they get to a fault.
Yeah.
He was a major liar, unfortunately. But yeah, just please don't carry the guilt. Just do you. You're your own individual. You are not the sum total of who you are is not what they have done. That's their bag to carry. It has nothing to do with you. It is none of your business. Okay?
Grow past it, be better, do better.
Yeah, because that's why I've taught Lexi for her whole life. Just let those things that you know guide you into being something more. We are going to wrap it up, and I'm sure we'll be catching you guys with another episode soon, so stay tuned for that. Reach out, let us know how you feel about the episode. Leave a review, leave some likes, leave some love. We love you right back. We'll see you next time. We're out of here.